Miss?
Actually, because my parallel in the afternoon, so I do not have enough activities now. That's why I want to see what the other presenter present about their journals. But if so, I don't have an information before to the committee, so I have to tell the committee first before I come here, isn't it?
Okay, I think it is no problem for you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, so we can start. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to International Conference on Progressive Education. I am Novita Nurdiana, an English lecturer, and I will be your moderator in parallel sessions today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our agenda today. We have opening and the next introduction, and then we have presentation time. So it is time for you for presenting the topics. And then there will be opportunities for you to have question and answer session in the fourth point. And then the last is closing. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the regulation of our parallel sessions are each presenter has 10 minutes for presenting his or her topic. Okay, and then to help you to manage your time well, so I will be your timekeeper. So I will remind you for 1 minute to be left for you to have finished your presentation as soon as possible. And then next, please activate or unmute your speaker when you perform. Don't forget. And then for the other presenter who haven't invited yet, so please unmute your speaker during the presentation time. And well, okay. And then the last, please, you can deliver your question and then you can answer it. We open question and answer session after all of the participants, all of the presenters have performed. So we open question and answer at the end of the session after all of you have presented well. And then, okay, I think this is the regulation. Is there any question, Bapak Ibu, about the regulation? It is clear enough for the regulation. I wait for your question. No, it's clear. Okay, great. Well, okay, so let's start our presentation time by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And then for the first, okay, I would like to give you information that for our session in the room 1, so you are in room 1. I remind you about that. So please check, okay, make sure that you are in the room 1, okay. So it means that I will guide you for the room 1. And there are 12 presenters here. Okay, there are 12 presenters here. We'll discuss or talk about the several topics. For the first presenter, I would like to invite Ibu or Miss Nadia Fadila and her partner, Fidiallah. Are Miss Nadia here? Okay. Okay, Miss Nadia Fadila and Fidiallah. Okay, I would like to invite them to present her topic entitled Developing a Design Model of Teacher Training in Developing Soft Skill in Vocational High School, VHS, with expertise in multimedia. Okay, so for Miss Nadia, are you ready for that? Miss Nadia? Okay. She has not come yet. She has not joined yet, Nadia. Wow. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, to keep the time while I will invite you who are ready for presenting. Okay, so how about, oh, sorry. Well, I change age.
Sorry, please on camera.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wow. So how about Miss or Ibu Waode City and Wardani? Are you ready for presenting the
Yes,
topic?
I'm ready.
Ibu Wardani, great job. So I remind you, you have 10 minutes for presenting your topic. Okay. Ibu Wardani and Ibu Waode City, time is yours.
Well, so my name is Wadi Siti Wardani. In this presentation, I share screen my PPT by myself. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Are the other participants or other presenters, sorry, can hear Ibu Wardani's voice clearly? Yes, okay. Ibu Wardani, you can continue your presentation.
Sorry, in this presentation, I share screen my PPT by myself. Okay. Could I start now?
Yes, of course, you can start it. 10 minutes for you.
Okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and thank you very much for the time. I am Wadi Siti Wadani from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Today, I would like to present my research paper entitled Exploring Teacher Assessment Literacy in EFL Classroom. Okay. As we know, assessment is one important task of teachers in the classroom. Ashraf and Zulfahari in 2018 said that assessment is used as an important factor in determining the student's success in the learning process. In other words, assessment as a guidance in determining the student's rank depends on the student's achievement level. For N. Tabati in 2018 stated that the good students assessment reflects the successful of teaching practices. Therefore, it is important for teachers to have assessment literacy skill in order to conduct the appropriate assessment instruction in the classroom. Kioms, Abdul Mehdi, and Rashidi in 2018 argued that assessment literacy refers to the teacher's ability to plan, manage, and implement the assessment result accurately and efficiently. So, uh, it showed that the teacher should consider the whole aspect in the classroom assessment, then the teacher can be literate in conducting the classroom assessment. That's why assessment literacy skill should be possessed by the teachers. However, the classroom assessment practice sometimes is not appropriate with the standardized. It is because the teachers do not have knowledge enough about conducting the appropriate classroom assessment instruction. That's why we still find the inappropriate classroom assessment practice in the classroom. Because of this, the researcher uh, The aims of the study are to explore the teacher's understanding on assessment literacy in EFL classroom and to identify the extent of teachers' understanding on assessment literacy in EFL classroom. Well, in this study, the researcher used descriptive analysis to identify the teacher's understanding on assessment literacy and the extent of teachers' understanding on assessment literacy in EFL classroom by using Classroom Assessment Literacy Inventory Questionnaire adapted from Medplan in 2003. This questionnaire this questionnaire is divided into two parts. The first part is consists of items related to the teacher's background, and the second part consists of 14 multiple choice items with 4 options related to knowledge of standardized testing, and the remaining items were related to the classroom assessment. Then, the participants of the study were 6 pre-service teachers who come from 2 different cities in Southeast Sulawesi. Basically, they are fresh graduated that have finished their study around 1 or 2 years ago. They have started their career in teaching around 4 months to 2 years. In addition, the researcher collect the data by distribute the questionnaire in WhatsApp account of the teacher. And this questionnaire is designed by using Google Form. Then the researcher can recapitulate the data from the respondents via Google Form. And the next, to analyze the data, the researcher used percentage of each questionnaire to know the teacher's understanding of assessment literacy. Then the researcher calculate the mean score of each items based on the standard used in assessment literacy. Therefore, the researcher could know the level of teacher assessment literacy. And this is the findings of the study. There are 2 points in these findings. The first point is about teachers' understanding on assessment literacy and in EFL classroom. And the second is about the extent of teachers' understanding on assessment literacy in EFL classroom. So in the first point, there are 2 tables. The first table is about pre-service teachers background. So in this study, there are 6 respondents. It consists of 5 female teachers and 1 male teachers. And the age range of the respondents, it is about 23 to 24 years old. And about the teaching experience of the teachers, it is about 4 months to 2 years. And based on the level of teaching in this table, we can see that some teacher teach English in public school, such as junior high school and elementary school, and the other teacher teach English in private school. So we can see in the table that the 2 teachers teach English in private school, and 3 teachers teach English in junior high school, and 1 teacher teach English in elementary school. And the next is about the teacher score of classroom assessment literacy. This is the question. There are 14 questions, and based on the test standardized in education system, it is consists 7 points. The first one is choosing assessment methods. The second one is developing assessment methods, and the third point is about administering, assigning, and interpreting learning outcomes. And the fourth is using assessment outcomes in decision making. And the next is using assessment to determine levels of learning outcomes. And the next is communicating assessment outcomes. And the last is knowing on ethical practice. So based on the table, show that the ability of teachers in choosing assessment methods is very good, where the teacher can choose the method in accordance with the objective from the implementation of assessment in order to achieve the learning objective.
And the other side, the teacher still have not shown a good response in developing assessment methods that suitable with the appropriate instrument. It is because the teachers do not have sufficient experience regarding the development of assessment methods. Furthermore, in administering, assigning, and interpreting learning outcomes, some teachers still do not have sufficient abilities because the teachers still seem confused in interpreting learning outcomes based on the test given. In the other hand, in determining the decision based on the result of classroom assessment already have educate abilities where the teacher can determine the best decision based on the problems given related to the assessment in the classroom. In determining the level of students' learning outcome based on the assessment given, the teacher can interpret well according to the student's scores. In this case, the teacher should really interpret the
So
students'
sorry
learning
for
outcomes.
interrupting. 1 minute to be left.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, I go on. So, based on the table, we can conclude that uh, there are there are some standardized tests that teacher have uh, have fulfilled good, but the other standardized the teachers do not fulfill it good. And the next is about the level of classroom assessment literacy. So the table show that the assessment literacy skill possessed by pre-service teacher in EFL classroom are still in medium level. And the next is about discussion. Based on the result of the study, the teacher assessment literacy should be possessed by both pre-service teacher and in-service teacher. It is because in 21st century, assessment literacy skills should increase encounter the students' need in the classroom. It is in line with the finding of the study from Far and Tabati in 2018, where the teacher do not have adequate assessment literacy skill due to the lack of teacher preparation in teaching, and Muhammad Hama and Bardashki in 2019 found that teachers are not prepared well to assess students' performance appropriately and determine the right level of assessment. So, therefore, mastering assessment literacy skill will help students in acquiring the learning objective. So, based on the study, I can conclude that the teachers have good responses on assessment literacy. However, the assessment literacy skills still categorized in the medium level. Therefore, pre-service teachers should have a high desire to improve assessment literacy skill by participating in several activities that can support the development of their knowledge and skill in assessment. And it's really recommended for pre-service teacher in 21st century to develop the teaching practices, especially mastering assessment literacy skill by joining some trainings in language assessment. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wow, thanks for the first presenters. Okay, the first presenters. Nice and interesting topic related about assessment. Bapak Ibu, we come to the next presenter. I would like to invite Bapak Asnawi Muslim. Okay, entitled, he will talk or discuss about level of knowledge and understanding of state senior high school science teachers in constructing hard questions. Pak Asnawi, are you here? Have you already joined, Pak Asnawi? No, Pak Asnawi? Okay, Pak Asnawi has not joined yet. Well, okay, we move to other presenter who has already joined here. How about next Ibu or Miss Widi Asti? Widi Asti?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yes, good. So, a time for you for presenting your topic, EFL teachers' conception of construct and oral assessment in task or task. Okay, don't forget you have 10 minutes for presenting your topic, and then I will remind you for 1 minute to be left. Okay, so time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. I would like to show my PowerPoint. Okay. Have you shown my screen? Do you see? No.
Yes, okay, we can see your screen.
I'm sorry. Where is... Can see my PowerPoint? I'm sorry because I can't see it. Okay. 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 Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ini.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Now, today I want to explain about my research entitled EFL Teachers' Conceptions of Construct and Oral Assessment in Task or Test. And first, I want to introduce myself. I am Widi Asti. I'm from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Okay, let's see the overview first. I would like to explain to you all about the first one is introduction, literature review, findings and discussion, and the last about the conclusion. Okay, the introduction. Here I have three backgrounds. In introduction, the first one is about I can take it from the Ahmad Kasim and Kushi in 2019. That stated assessment will help to determine whether or not the goals are being accomplished. So in language teaching or education, we should assess every details, every subjects and every topics. So here I'll explain about the overall skill, especially and sorry, oral skill has varied rubric as Hermanda and Nisa said that speaking evaluation varies depending on the skill of the learner. And we know that in language teaching, we have different assessment in different scale. So when we teach about the writing, we should have the writing assessment, and it also happened to the oral skill. And I I pick the oral skill as the topic because I don't find any specific rubric in oral skill in language teaching. And then Weddell and Dresick said that teachers and also students frequently skip or ignore tests of speaking skill. And as we know that uh, in English teaching, especially at school, in private school, or I mean this the specifically in public school, we can see that teacher just do the task about the reading task and writing task and understanding. But we don't see that uh, every not every meeting, but twice in every week, we don't see that teachers uh, teach teach and assess the oral skill. Okay, let's come to the literature review. There are three topics. The first one, language assessment. The second one, speaking skill or oral skill, and the last one, teacher's conception of construct. Okay, the language assessment. Readers attend to non-relevant criteria in their assessment or performance. One example being the voice quality of the test takers. Okay, here it means readers have the criteria in assess the oral skill, especially in performance, and but they just focus on the accuracy, not the others criteria. And the speaking skill. Speaking requires learner to know how to produce a specific point of language competence, and observes is a complex skill requiring the simulate use of different rates. And here means that speaking just just want to know how the students produce a language, a words, a sentence, and then observes uh, what the different about the language or the speaking that they produce. And the last one, teacher's conception of constructs. Constructs usually have a source or frame or reference, such as a course syllabus, which helps assessment designers to operationalize the constructs. The constructs here means that what teachers use to assess their learners, what teachers use as their basic to know and to assess the student skills. Okay, here come to the method. The research design. In this research, I use descriptive study, and of course, this research is qualitative. And then the participants I I asked 24 teachers of secondary level in West Sumatra to be the participants. And the instrumentation, I used a semi-structured interview that I called them one by one and interviewed them by the phone, because the COVID uh, and that we can interview face to face. And data collection, all teachers were interviewed via telephone. And about the data analysis, uh, I write the interview's result, and then make the conclusion, and I got the results or findings. Okay, here, findings and discussions. Uh, I have two findings. The first one, EFL teachers' understanding about the constructs and criteria to be tested in oral English task or test. And it is as the research question, the first research question. And the result that I got, two constructs emerge from the coded statement, namely communication and content. Because the oral skill or the speaking skills, we focus on the communication. We want the students or learners can communicate with others. And about the content, uh, the teachers want to the learners or the students know what they talk uh, in any content. They know what should they told or make some discussion or dialogue about specific content or the other content. But with the exception of the criteria, the teachers said that any criteria. There are disruptive features, preparation, and effort. And then the second research question is kind of criteria that teachers sees as prominent. Okay, the teachers here see language ability as 5 to 8 times more important than the ability to understand or analyze content. Uh, so teachers knows and aware that language ability is the most important thing. And no teacher statements produce subcriteria or sub-subcriteria within the application, analysis, reflection, or comprehension categories. So, in general, some teachers here have the same idea.
So sorry, you have 1 more minute.
Okay, thank you. Okay, here, the last one, the conclusion. Okay, the conclusion that I got is teachers generally have the same broad understanding of the constructs and criteria to be evaluated, but suggested that when it comes to how they perceive the relative significance of certain constructs and criteria, some differences remain. And there is variation in particular as to how the teachers view the meaning of the knowledge of the content. Still, the study found variation in scoring performances. It happens because the government don't serve the teachers, especially to the public school, the specific scoring performances. But uh, uh, if the private school, they have different scoring performances based on their chair. Okay, that's all for my research explanation, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thanks for the presentation. And then we come to the next presentation. How about Ibu Nurul Hakimah? Are you ready, Bu?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, okay. So for the third presentation, we'll talk about investigating. Investigating in the constraints and strategies encountered by non-English students in answering reading comprehension on TOEFL test. For Ibu Nurul Hakimah and team, don't forget you have 10 minutes for presenting. Okay, so you can start it. Time is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see.
Yes, it is clear.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for the opportunity that given to me in addressing a presentation today. I'm Nurul Hakimah Hafid from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, and I will explain my study under the title Investigating the Constraints and Strategies Encountered by Non-English Students in Answering Reading Comprehension on TOEFL tests. And there are 4 points that I will explain. The first one is introduction, followed by methodology, results, and conclusion. Okay. Education system, reading comprehension as one of the learning parts to get more information from the passage or the text that related to the subject matter. Supported by GRAB in 2005, reading in academic context as a part of learning that requires the students to read and interpret the text in line with the task that they engage from the classroom and the goals of the subject. The reading comprehension requires the students to synthesize, interpret, evaluate, and selectively apply the information from the passage that they read. To measure the students' ability in reading comprehension, certainly the teachers assess it by a test or a task. Um, since having a proficient ability in English is crucial, therefore, TOEFL is widely used as a measurement or a test for a standardized foreign language students' capability. Specifically, ITP TOEFL test consists of three parts. Those are listening, structure and written expression, and reading comprehension. The score of reading comprehension is necessary in order to achieve the satisfactory score. However, reading is one of the learner's problems in the test. According to Anjomsa and Samanian said it in TOMI 2017, reading comprehension is the most important section among the three language skill tests in a TOEFL. The students in which are unfamiliar with the words are commonly could face some struggles or constraints in answering the question. By the same token, the length and the tedious passage that are written in the TOEFL mostly induce the constraints. Sukmawati in 2018 also claims that the reading comprehension is placed as the last section in TOEFL test. Consequently, the students are too tiring to clearly think. For those reasons, the students most cases face some struggles or constraints in answering the question of TOEFL reading comprehension. And then commonly the score of TOEFL test is used as an indicator of academic effort in the world to measure the students' English skill. It takes an example of the students intend to continue their study in abroad or not. The university will absolutely ask for their TOEFL certificate or provide on their own requirement of the students for submission as the requirement for the students who want to continue their study. And it's not only for the English students, but it's also required for the students from non-English students. So TOEFL test is very important for the students. And therefore, the study will explore what the constraints or what the struggle faced by non-English students in answering the reading comprehension in TOEFL test, and what their strategies that implemented to solve their problems or to answer the question. And then the methodology of this study was conducted based on the descriptive qualitative method with two central points on the constraints and strategies encountered by the students. And the participant was involving 18 Indonesian English department students who have been passed the TOEFL test, and it is select with specific requirement in which the students who pass the TOEFL test should be got the score in range 481 to 520. And then the instrument were the questionnaire and an interview. And then the result of the study focus on 2 points. Those are the constraints and strategies. The constraints mostly face 3 points. The first one is the students are hard to answer the reading comprehension because they are lack of vocabulary. And the second one is complicated to identify the specific information from the passage, and the last is struggling to identify the tone, purpose of the course in the passage. This study in line with the Nusal in Nutan that state that there are 5 aspects that the students feel struggle in reading comprehension. Those are determining the idea, locating the reference, understanding vocabulary, making interference, and determining the detailed information. And the second one is based on those constraints and struggles faced by the students. The students also imply and apply some strategies to solve their problems. There are 7 strategies mostly they applied. The first one is keep in mind about purpose and try to focus on what they read. The students just need to focus on the passage, then they will answer the question. And some of the students state the statement. And the second one is use background knowledge when reading the passage, and then focus on the important information in the text through skimming. As we know that skimming and scanning frequently applied, implemented by the students to in reading comprehension. And the next is keep reading a text even there are some difficult words in the passage and guessing the meaning. Some of the students may guessing the meaning of the text and
1
guessing from
minute to be left, Ibu.
okay, thank you. Guessing from suffix and prefix and semantic knowledge such as synonym and antonym to understand unfamiliar vocabulary. And the last is repeat understanding and repeat reading the text to increase the understanding. Okay, those findings in line with the study that have conducted by some researchers. One of them is the study from Lestari and Saifullah 2017 found that found that the non-English students fi- apply some strategies such as predicting strategies, skimming, and scanning. So the conclusion is the study explores how the students deal with the constraints faced by them, uh, and then they also solve their problem by implementing some strategies to answer the question. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your nice attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Interesting topic about reading comprehension. Well, Bapak Ibu, we come to the next topic about attitude assessment that will be presented by Bapak Yudi Saparudi.
Yes.
Are you ready, Bapak? Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Well, okay, so 10 minutes for you for presenting your topic. Time is yours.
Thank you. Permission, introduction myself. My name is Yudi Saparudin from Bandung, now working with Java Province Education Office. Permission to present my article with the title, The Use of Digital Application in Academic Supervision to Improve Teacher Ability to Make Up-to-Date Assessment. Introduction. The result of school quality report card of the process standard to use information and communication technology, the lowest score. And then some teachers still do not understand the form and technique of attitude assessment. Attitude assessment will be difficult to recapitulate research, analyze them, and require longer time to carry out even for one assessment. Therefore, there is a need for a model of academic supervision to improve the ability of teachers to carry out comprehensive quality assessment of attitudes, especially digital literacy based. One model of academic supervision and where the challenge is the professional learning community model. Method. The research method. The research method used was one group experimental research using one group pretest post-test research design. Population and sample. The population in this study were of private high school in the city of Bandung, which were the outer guidance from this population. One school sample was selected using purposive sampling technique. Sources of data. Sources of data is this study were the principal, vice principal of the curriculum school, and all teachers of SMA Pasundan 4 Bandung. Data analysis procedure. Data analysis procedure include first, analyzing the ability of teacher to conduct digital application-based attitude assessment before and after the implementation of the VLC model. Two, statistic analysis using pilot sample t-test to determine the significance before and after the implementation of the VLC model with significant level 0.05. Finding and discussion. Figure 1 show the percentage of each of the 7 aspects of the teacher ability to conduct digital application-based attitude assessment has increased after implementing the VLC model academic supervision. And the data in table first show that the application of the VLC model can significantly improve the ability to teacher to conduct digital literacy-based attitude assessment at SMA Pasundan 4 Bandung with a value 0.05. Conclusion. Plus, the VLC model can improve the ability of teacher to conduct digital literacy-based attitude assessment in SMA Pasundan 4 Bandung. 2. Model VLC needs to be implemented in other high school. So the ability of teacher to make technology literacy-based attitude assessment using the usual form application can occur. That is my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Great presentation, Pak. We still have 4 minutes, okay, but no problem. We come to the next presentation about self-assessment that will be presented by Ibu Lastika Aripiandoko. Are you ready?
Pardon me.
Ibu Lastika?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, Ibu Lastika Ari and her team, yeah, Pak. Okay, so don't forget you have 10 minutes for presenting your topic.
Okay. Thank you.
Time is yours.
Okay. May I share my screen?
Yes, of course.
It is visible for everyone, my PPT. Okay, well, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lastika Ariprihandoko, and I will share my research related to the self-assessment on information literacy competency of students in Indonesia, Papua New Guinea border area during the COVID-19 epidemic.
So sorry, Pak, we haven't gotten your PPT yet. We haven't, okay. It has not been shared yet.
Actually, I had delivered. May I share my screen?
Yes, of course.
Sharing screen.
You can choose share screen.
I try to show your PPT, but
okay, but if it is difficult for you, Okay, no problem. You can go on for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, from the introduction, this research is based on the spread of COVID-19 that makes the government take several policies, including closing educational facilities from elementary to tertiary levels. As a result, students and teaching staff must transform their learning models from face-to-face model into distance learning models. The demands for educational transformation were imposed in very brief period, so that not all educational institutions were ready to carry out the transformation of online learning. Thus, the challenges that arise are not only related for the technical problems, it also related to students' attitudes toward learning, such as inappropriate content of learning materials, lack of discipline, and a home learning environment that is not supportive for distance learning. Thus, adequate information literacy competency is needed to prepare students to be able to follow the transformation phase of distance learning model without any obstacles. Thus, this research will focus on exploring information literacy skill in universities. The setting is located in rural areas, the border between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, Merauke district. For the addition, information literacy skills are sorry for the technical problem. Information literacy skill is needed for student to master, because the distance learning model requires students to be independent learners. And there are three main components in student academic development of information literacy, consisting self-efficacy, motivation, and information literacy. And students need the ability to search for information to effectively communicate that information through the process of analysis to the organization of information. Okay, we will continue to the method. This research used survey strategy. The respondent consists of 200 students from 4 different university in Merauke. The instrument is adopted and contains 21 questions that aim to carry out self-assessment of students' literacy competency. And furthermore, the information literacy competency level use the interpretation framework in the form of weak, mean 1 to 3.5, moderate, mean 3.6 to 5.8, and mean high level, mean 5.9 to 7. Okay, for the result, the ability to search for information is correlated with the ability to evaluate information at a moderate level. The three components of information literacy includes the information searching and information processing, and the last is information dissemination, are in a moderate level. These results also shows us that female students have better competency compared to male students, and non-Papuan students also have better literacy competency compared to Papuan students. One of interesting finding of this research is the strategy employed by students to obtain information literacy skill that derive from self-learning. It is assumed that COVID-19 transformed the learning style of students from spoon feeder learner into self-learner. And for the conclusion, the particular gender and ethnicity have better information literacy competency. On the other hand, the findings of this study also shows that students majority acquire information literacy competency by using the self-learning strategy. The implication of this research is long-term policies must be taken by the institution to revitalizing information literacy competency, such as optimizing the role of libraries and teaching. Also, policies can be taken by improving the curriculum of creating a learning model to improve information literacy competency that are ethnic and gender friendly. I think this is enough for my presentation. Sorry for the inconvenience about my PPT. Thank you.
Okay, well, no problem, Pak. Okay, you still have 1 minute actually, but okay, we come to the next presentation, Bapak Ibu, and the next topic is about teachers' perspective that will be presented by Ibu Rahmi and her team. Ibu Rahmi, are you ready for that?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, good. So same with the other presenter, you have 10 minutes for presenting your topic. Okay, so we start now. Time is yours.
Okay. Everybody, could you see my presentation? I mean, my screen?
Screen, Ibu. Yes, it can be seen well.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rahmi Ratnanursanti. I am from Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, Indonesia. My paper entitled Teacher Perspective, the Implementation of Higher Order Thinking Skill or HOTS as an Assessment in Teaching English as a Second Language or TESOL. My background of the study is related to the curriculum representation in teaching and learning assessment in TESOL, because as you know, curriculum itself is the main compulsory item in educational fields, because the learning objective of curriculum is to evaluate and to assess the teaching and learning, the teachers and also the students in the process of teaching and learning. And the second is related to the HOTS or higher order thinking skill competence. As you know, there are four competences of HOTS, as we call as perceive, collaborative, communicative, critical thinking, and also creative. And the implementation in this show. So how does the HOTS can implement in teaching English as a second language? And the third is related to the significant outcomes of HOTS in TESOL. So how does HOTS can well implemented in TESOL by the teachers in regarding to the obstacles that they also face during the teaching and learning process. And the purpose of the study is, the first is to discover the teacher's perspectives while using HOTS as an assessment in teaching and teaching English. And the second is, by implementing HOTS, teachers are supposed to assess their students creatively based on the four elements: collaborative, communicative, critical thinking, and also creative. And the third is, the teachers could organize the class well by minimizing obstacles in the class. And the method of this paper using qualitative data and the research design, we use quantity theory. In this case, the quantity theory is related to the how does the data, the procedures to collect the data. This is related to interview. The author use semi-structured interview, and then the author interviewed for about 7 English teachers at senior high school using online media to get the information because this paper was conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the last is how does they collect the data and also analyze the data. The authors also collect the data after getting the interview data from the interviewees, and then the authors also analyze the data and describe the data based on the data we have got from the interviewees. Next, the findings and discussions. The findings and discussion here, I categorize into 3 parts. The first is about the effectiveness of HOTS. The effectiveness of HOTS here, we know that HOTS has 4 competences or 4 elements. They are communicative, collaborative, critical thinking, and also creative. And in this case, the teacher could implement those 4 C at the class successfully, because the teacher has now so many strategies to engage the materials related to the English process in English materials in the process of teaching and learning. And collaborative and communicative. The students solve the problems based on the topic given by the teacher, implicitly and also explicitly. And then after that, they also could find the word solution to analyze, to summarize, and also to build up the materials. And the third is they could elaborate with each other in group discussions. And the last is the learners could communicate each other and collaborate the test or collaborate the materials or the topic given by the teacher with a different combination, so that they can share each other with their friends. Next, in critical thinking, the teachers applied project-based learning using paper-based, or we can say here worksheet, because here the teachers give them a worksheet about a topic, about a current topic, so that they can interact with the students to discuss the topic, also with the self-determined learning. And then the teachers increase the students in speaking, questioning, and answering academic. And then some topics also given to be discussed by students in a group of discussions, because in HOTS here, the teachers divide the class into this group of discussions. And the next is the techniques used. The teachers use discussion, solving problems, logical iteration, summarizing material, and also sharing each other. The last is about case building. So in this critical thinking, the teacher asks the students to put a case related to the topic, and then they have to share the information in front of the class. And also they can share the information to another group discussion like that. The fourth is related to the creative. In this creative, the teachers ask students to arrange the answer and put up the analysis using HOTS. So there is a topic, the students are asked to arrange the answers by themselves. And then after that, they could build a mind mapping related to the topic given. And the next category is about the perception of the teachers. Based on the HOTS assessment, HOTS could appraise the students and the engagement in the process of teaching and learning, because in this case, the students who are not confident enough, they could interact with other students, and the other students and the higher level of students, or it means that the students who have higher score or higher marks, they can take other friends to interact with the materials, because in this case the teachers are not only give the material to write down the test, but they could interact and create their critical thinking. And because HOTS also can motivate the students to build up their creativity and also build up their confidence. And the last is about the perceptions, is about the brainstorming and stimulus. Brainstorming and stimulus are related each other because some students are not getting confidence enough. So the teacher before the class, they have to brainstorm the materials to get the good stimulus that, and then the students could interact and engage with that material. And then the obstacles. Obstacles here, there are three main points of obstacle. The first one is ineffective number of students in one class. As we know, some schools they consist of many students in one class, more than 20 students with one teacher. It means that the class is so crowded. So the teacher could not manage the class well. Even the policy can be implemented.
Sorry, Ibu, you have 1 minute to be left.
Thank you. So the teacher could manage the class well with the lower number of class. That is the proper number of students in one class. And then the second is administrative tasks of teachers. Because before teaching and learning process, the teachers should prepare the lesson plan, materials, media, instrument for assessment and evaluation, so that the teacher get more energy to prepare the materials, to prepare the administrative, to teach, and also to complete the administrative itself. And the third is the lack of confidence for some students. Some students are getting lower confidence, so that the teacher could make good brainstorm and stimulus to make them interact with the other students and interact with the materials. And the last is about the implication. The implication of this research is it can be for the future educators are supposed to manage the class effectively using HOTS in this all. And the second is the 4C should be well implemented at class instead of teaching and learning, and also in administration stuffs. Okay. Thank you. That's all about my presentation. I am Rahmi Ratana Santi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wow, okay, thanks for the presentation. And then it is still same topic. It talks about heart, okay. And then will be presented by different presenter. Bapak Pargito, are you ready for presenting, Pak?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Pak Pargito, same rule. You have
Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello.
10
Hello.
minutes for presenting your... Yes, Pak Pargito, we can hear your voice clearly.
Yeah. Okay. I'm clear.
Okay. Well,
I'm here.
okay. Bapak Ibu, when you get the presentation, please turn off your speaker, so it is not disturbing your other or the other presenter, I mean. Okay, so thank you for your that. Yes, Pak Pargito, time is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody. Good noon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, save for you. I want to explain about my research. The title is Development of a High Order Thinking Skill Assessment on Social Studies. We know that high order thinking skill will be difficult to measure or monitor if the assessment only focus on low level cognitive assessment. assessment information information is needed to make a decision about learning, about placement them, and appropriate levels and their achievement. The fact that most of the teacher make a question are still at the low level thinking skill. For example, problem, copy paste from existing source, formative tasks implemented by 25% teachers include high level skill. Ini by Ban. Furthermore, total of 87.50% did not have and did not know how to make a hot assessment instrument on social studies. So, or therefore, on this research, on my study, aims to determine the feasibility of developing assessment instrument to measure the hot thinking ability of class 7 in junior high school. The method in this research, we use the R&D by Borg and Gall. The population and sample, we get the 7th grade of junior high school in Tanggamus, Lampung. The data collection technique by questionnaire, by test, and a document. And then the analysis data, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. We use the qualitative to construct the model and quantitative to analysis the data by experiment. The result that it is concluded that final product is this study is an assessment instrument measure the high order thinking skill on 7th grade high school. The developed question are writing question rule. The validity of the instrument is the result by expert judgment indicating that the voltage of use based on the material construction and the per aspect. The instrument also meet reliable criteria. We use the many choice question or question has a moderate degree in difficult, distinguished power, all of the cleverly function. We make the question in 4 or C4 until CH to make the high order thinking skill. And then the instrument must be must use the stimulus problem to make student can thinking high skill, thinking high. The instrument product are effective in a measure based on their level of ability. And then by to conclusion, the instrument product are effective in measuring their hearts based on their level of ability. In this case, the use of HOTS appraisal instrument is one of the alternative for teacher to train and determine the level thinking of student based on the ability to answer the question they provide. I think that's all. Thank you. Okay, for moderator. Hello. Hello, for moderator.
Yes, okay, Pak. Thank you. Thanks for the great presentation, Pak Pargito.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you very
for
much.
the next presentation, okay, I would like to invite Ibu Titin. Are you ready, Ibu? Ibu Titin Mas Vingatin. Ibu Titin. Have you already joined, Ibu Titin? Okay. Yes. Okay. Ibu Titin will present about analysis. Okay. Analysis of students' errors in solving plain geometry questions during the COVID pandemic 19. Ibu Titin?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Don't forget you have 10 minutes for presenting your topic. And then the
Can I
other,
share my
yeah, you can turn off
presentation?
your, pardon, Miss?
Can I share my presentation?
Yes, of course. Okay,
That's
sure.
good. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Okay. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Restu Luciana. I'm here representing my leader team who is unable to attend. So I am presentation my study. Yeah. Okay, I want to explain about my study and title analysis of student error in solving analytic geometry question during the COVID pandemic 19. Okay, first, background my study, my research is the COVID-19 pandemic has a very significant impact on the world of education in higher education. Okay, learning that usually runs directly cannot be done to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Online learning is applied as a solution for implementation the learning process. However, many problems arise in online learning. One of them is that students are less able to understand the material given. Because students could not understand the material, they made several mistakes in solving the problem given. And my study went to analytic geometry with the Newman analysis error and first reading error, twice understanding error, and then transformation error and process error and final answer errors. The methods in this research is qualitative approach with a case study model. Location at the Mathematics Education Study Program UNIPMA, Madiun. The research subject consists of 63 students. Determination of the subject based on the type of error committed. The main instrument in this study was the research, while the auxiliary instruments were in the form on a cycle equation problem solving test and interview guide. Data analysis technique include data reduction, data presentation, and drawing conclusion. The result of my research is this table show reading errors 0%, comprehension error is 74.60%, and transformation error 20.63%. Process skill error so 0%, and the last encoding errors so 3.70% error. Based on the data in table, it shows that the errors made by students are comprehension errors of 74.60%, transformation error amount to 20.63%, and the final answer error of 3.17%. In this study, students did not make reading error and processing error. And then the following is a description of the mistake made by student. First, understanding error. Comprehension error is the type of error is in which students have read the problem well, but do not understand the meaning of the question of the problem. And then in picture 2, subject exercise error in transforming known information into mathematical equation. This is shown from the written statement, namely, and this means that the radius of the cycle is equal to the distance of the point 2.2 to the line. The student experienced error in transforming problem. And then in Pick 3, encoding error that student make is when the subject determines the center of the cycle. The subject of writing an equation from the center of the cycle is namely, and the equation from the center of the cycle from the general equation from the cycle. The subject writes that the center of the cycle is. The means that is subject made a mistake in determining the center of the cycle. The center of the and then the center of the cycle should still be in the form of the variable whose value is unknown. Furthermore, the subject substitute the center point value and the radius value into the standard equation of confirms, namely the choice of the equation is incorrect. In conclusion, the result of this study were error made by students in solving an light geometry problem, including understanding error 70.60%, transformation error 20.63%, and encoding errors 3.17%. Students do not making reading errors and processing error. This error was caused by the lack of student ability to understand field and light geometry material in online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Online learning design during COVID-19, which need to be reviewed and innovated so that students can more easily absorb learning material. And suggestions that can be implemented in relation to the result of this study are to immediately improve the learning design in Light Geometry course. Presentation of the material was also more innovative so that students could more easily understand the analytic geometry material. Okay, maybe that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Wow, okay. Thanks, Ibu Titin, okay, for your presentation. Next, how about Pak Idewa Gede and your team? Are you ready?
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. Let
Yes,
me
okay. So you have
my
10 minutes for presenting your topic entitled Textual Analysis of the Level 1 Students Writing of Indonesian Language for Foreign Speakers in New Delhi. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, let's present for Pak Iwa Gede for his topic. Time is yours.
thank you for the opportunity. Let me to present my research that conduct about a year ago in New Delhi. This is my analysis of my student writing in learning Indonesian as a foreign speaker, for foreign speaker. And my title is Textual Analysis of the Level 1 Student Writing of Indonesian Language for Foreign Speaker in New Delhi. My background research is, as we know, writing is the most complex skill compared to other language skills. And language skills generally begin with the listening or reading first, then speaking and writing. This is a step of language learning commonly applied in language learning and teaching. Then writing requires mastery, adequate knowledge in a second language. So because the writing skill is the most complex skill compared to other skills, so writing need other language than other skills. And writing activities involve knowledge of linguistic topic and language skills. And language skills including knowledge about the context of situation and context of the culture. And this way, writing is very complex skill in language, especially in language learning as or a second language. Then language carries out three functions as non-meta function of language, and those meta functions are ideational, interpersonal, textual meta functions. And in this context, we will focus on textual meaning as a result of meaning used to organize information as a message. So this is very basic and important function of language. Then organizing themes in reading or speaking means that's the way we manifest our clause as a message. That's the way we organize our meaning to the clause and then sentences. And organizing theme is also a maker of or characteristic of distinct register. Or distinct register will imply to the way we organize our theme. And in writing, organizing theme is very important. Then theme organization determines the age of understanding and effectiveness of writing. Because then writing skill can be reviewed by applying linguistic systemic functional. This is very common and familiar theory to analyze text. And this study focused on textual measure function on student writing, especially on class of Indonesian for foreign speaker in New Delhi. This research focused on describing theme is the theme developed of Indonesian language for foreign speaker and New Delhi. The theme of progression in the student writing. And this is not the first studies in this topic. I reviewed few studies that conduct about the thematic analysis. Chang, Wang, and Hanifa, Porter, and Gomez. All of these studies said and conclude the textual analysis is very important, and textual meaning is very important to make the writing easy to understand and to make the communication effective for the participants. Then the theoretical framework, this research based on the systemic functional linguistic theory, especially show in this picture, and I will not talk specific about this. Then in this research, we are focused to the textual meaning, then can be divided theme and rhyme, and theme can be divided into topical, interpersonal, and textual. Then this research doing based on descriptive research method and applying qualitative approach, and conduct an Indonesian language learning class for foreign speaker in the Indonesian Embassy in New Delhi. Then the participants are 10 students who join in first level class in the New Delhi. Then the research procedure in applied first create instrument that needs to collect data, and collection, observing, then analyzing data. And finding of this research is student writing. Dominant theme that we can show in the student writing is unmarked topical theme. It's almost 83%, and marked topical theme is 15%, and textual theme is just 3%. So the topical theme is very dominant in student writing. Then we cannot found additional theme in student writing. And this is the rating. Then as we can see, the theme of the student rating in every clause is very similar. So the previous clause theme is similar to the previous clause theme. Then that is very monotone and not variative theme. What does it mean? So we can show on this conclusion. First, student writing in development with a topical theme, both unmarked topical theme and marked topical theme and textual theme, and no interpersonal, as I say, no interpersonal theme in the student writing. And the second, the most dominant theme in student writing is topical theme, which amount 71 clauses, or up to 97% are is topical theme. And the last one, the thematic development pattern used by student in thematic development pattern with the same theme as the theme in the previous clause. What does it mean? Grammatically, student doing correct grammatical when doing the activities, writing activities. But that's not a good way to message communicate, because that's not variative and not engaged for our participants. So this is true that student level 1 students have proper or good grammatical knowledge internet. So in the next unit, focus on the of the pattern based on the context, situation, and context of culture of the language usage. That's all what I want to present. Thank you.
Wow, okay. interesting topic in Dewa Gede, okay, about analysis of textual analysis, I mean, okay. And then we continue our the same topic about analysis here, but about analysis of perception, okay, of perception for students ready in the phase of minimum competency assessment. And then I would like to invite the presenter, Bapak Novian, and his team. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you very much.
Well,
Uh,
okay.
I
So, Pak
promise to share
Novrian,
my
okay,
PowerPoint.
10 minutes for presenting. Yes. Okay, Pak Novrian, time is yours.
Uh, can you see my PowerPoint? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum
Okay.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Novrian Satria Perdana. I am from Center for Policy Research in Jakarta. On this occasion, I will present the result of the study entitled The Analysis of Perception for Student Readiness in the Phase of Minimum Competency Assessment, or Assessment Competency Minimal. Before I tell you about this research, I will share information regarding the minimum competency assessment. Ministry of Education and Culture, Nadiem Anwar Makarim, decided to abolish the 2021 National Examination, or Ujian Nasional, UN. Later, the UN will be replaced the concept of minimum competency assessment and character survey. According to him, this concept is a simplification of the UN, which is so complex. The concept of the minimum competency assessment is an assessment that measures the minimum abilities needed by students. To prepare for the implementation of the assessment competency minimum, a rehearsal was held in February. This study focused on the implementation of the rehearsal according to the student perception. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, the PISA score in 2018, Indonesia students are still far behind compared to the other countries, such as Malaysia, Singapore, America, and China. For example, the achievement of mathematical values, uh, which describe the numeracy scale of students in Indonesia is still low, namely obtaining a score of 379. The achievement of this PISA score is very important considering that the PISA question contain elements needed to face in the 21st century, including critical thinking, creativity, communication, systematic thinking, and so on. Because of the importance of this achievement, the government through the Ministry of Education and Culture is a student assessment mechanism from the national examination to the minimum competency assessment. In the question tested on the minimum competency assessment, it contains element of ability needed in the 21st century. As I said earlier, that in February, there was a rehearsal for the implementation of the minimum competency assessment. Therefore, the aim of this study is to investigate the perception of student readiness in facing the minimal competency assessment. The minimum competency assessment is aimed at students in grade 5, 8, and 11 in the form of literacy and numeracy to measure cognitive learning, and in the form of character surveys to measure the social emotional learning outcome. The minimum competency assessment is also aimed at assessing teacher and principal who function as a learning environment survey tool with the result of the input characteristic and the learning process. The next slide. It is a sample for assessment competence minimal AKM. This is sample for numeration and literation. So, what's my research results? The research applies qualitative and quantitative approach by combining surveys and interview with students in public and private high school and vocational high school with high, medium, and low score for national examination result category in DKI Jakarta Province in 2019. The data collection technique was transmitted out by interviewing 30 students in 5 high school and 5 vocational high school, which the student have high score, national examination, and 5 high school and 5 vocational high school in criteria have medium score, and 5 high school and 5 vocational high school, which the student have the low score in national examination. It is result and discussion. A. The compatibility of AKM question with subject material learning process and the question given by the teacher. Based on 450 high school students and 450 vocational high school students who were the sample of the study, in the amount of 42% of senior high school and the category of all national examination category, and 48% of vocational high school in all category of the national examination of REC content than the AKM question were partly in accordance with the basic competency in the subject. From the result of the interview, the reason why students thought that the AKM question were partly by the subject had been taught was that, according to them, few of the student matters come out in the AKM question show that in working on the exercise, it was necessary to confirm to other general knowledge. And two, the compatibility with the learning process. The AKM questions are only a fraction of the learning process. However, the learning process given to subject at school has become a provision of knowledge to be able to answer AKM question. There was also some student who said that the AKM question were in accordance with the learning process carried out by school. Based on 150 high school students and 150 vocational high school students with low UN categories who were the sample of this study, 30% of senior high school in the low national examination of REC category and 34% of the senior high school in the low national examination of REC category were partly in accordance with the learning process. And part B, the difficulty level of the question, the readability of the question, and the compatibility of the question in the local area. One, the level of student difficult. The amount of 51% of high school students and 53% of occasional high school students from all national examination categories state that they had difficulty working on AKM question. And two, readability of this question. Most of high school and vocational high school students face problem in understanding the AKM question because the student got difficulty in understanding the text. The compatibility of the question in the local area. Almost of students at the high school and vocational levels that the AKM question were in accordance with the current condition of problem faced by students, such as discourses on plastic waste, and the environment, population, and applied technology. So the conclusion in this paper is majority of high school and vocational high school students thought that the AKM question test didn't match with the material in the learning process taught by teacher at school, so they have not been ready yet to face AKM if it is implemented easier. Some supportive substantiation of this statement that is made many as 51% of high school students and 53% of vocational high school students from all national examination categories state that they had difficulty working on AKM question. And there were still those who argued that a small proportion of AKM question were in accordance with base competency in the subject of 42% of senior high school in the category, all national examination category, and 48% of vocational high school in our national examination average category. So, thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say so sorry for Pak Asnawi because I haven't invited you yet in the beginning because you have not joined yet. And for now, how about Pak Asnawi and team? Are you ready for presenting? Pak Asnawi? Pak Asnawi Muslim? Have you already joined? Okay. Okay. Wow. So we go to the next presenter. How about Ibu Dinda Andriani? Ibu Dinda? Ibu Dinda? Okay. Have you joined? Okay. She has not joined yet. Well, how about next presenter, Ibu Suci Rulianti? Are you ready for presenting your topic, Ibu Suci? Ibu Suci? Okay. Is there any new presenter that hasn't performed yet, Bapak Ibu? That I haven't invited you yet? Well, okay. So all of you have presented. Bapak Asnawi? Where is he? Okay. Wow, Bapak Asnawi. Wow. Okay, Bapak Ibu. Wow. And then, okay, if there is no presentation, okay, there is no someone who want to continue or present the topic, let's come to the next session is question answer. You can deliver your question by using chat box, through chat box here, or you want to deliver your questions directly. Okay, anyone? Okay, wow, question. Okay, so question for Pak Ari Priandoko. Well, question for Pak Ari Priandoko. What was the result? What was the result about? What was the result from your research and how to implement the finding in the relevant case? So, Pak Ari Priandoko, can you get my point, Pak Ari?
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
okay.
I get your
So,
point.
yeah. Okay. So, if you are ready for answering, you can answer question for Pak Mona.
Okay. Thank you for such lovely question, and I will try to answer your question. The question is related to the result of the study and how to implement the findings in relevant areas. The result of this study is indicate that students have moderate information literacy competency. Thus, in the next research, I have a plan to develop the materials to revitalize the literacy competency from the student. As we know, information literacy competency is needed for a student to be an independent learner, especially during COVID-19 epidemic that mostly students study by themselves. And how to implement the findings, actually it is not been developed yet, but I have planned to develop it. I will infuse the material to train them about information literacy material in bahasa Inggris umum. Actually, I teach bahasa Inggris umum in several faculty in my university, and that's how I implement the findings. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Pak Mona, can you get the point? Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you
sir.
for
Yeah,
your
thank you so
question. Yeah. Thank you. Next question for Ibu Nurul Hakimah for non-English for non-English students. Question for you: how hard the students can understand the indicators? Okay, how hard the student can mastery the indicators that you present? Ibu Nurul Hakimah, can you get the point of the question? Ibu Nurul Hakimah, can you hear my voice clearly? Ibu? Okay. Terus Ibu Nurul Hakimah? Okay. Well, how about Ibu Dinda Andriani? I think that you have not presented well, Ibu, about your topic. Ibu Dinda. Can I find Ibu Dinda here in this Zoom? Wow, okay. So maybe the question for the all presenter here, okay, yeah, already answered. Or is there someone that want to ask or deliver your question or your comment related to the topic that we have already discussed, Bapak Ibu? Pak Ari Piandoko, is it enough or you want to add something? Bu Widi Asti, you want to give comment or maybe you want to deliver your question, Ibu? No?
No, I think no.
Okay, no, okay. Okay, well, I think enough. If there is no more participant or more presenter, I mean, here. So, I remind you, Bapak Ibu, for join into link Zoom again because we still have keynote speaker. Okay, so please join in Zoom at 3:30. So Bapak Ibu, I remind you for join into Zoom at 3:30. And then you will get your certificate and you will fill your attending after the end of the session around 5 p.m. So don't miss it. Bapak Ibu, I remind you, don't miss for the station when you can get your certificate. Okay, thank you so much for your attention and then your nice presentation. I am so delighted for guiding you in the parallel session. And then so sorry if I have mistaken in delivering or in guiding you into the parallel session. Bapak Ibu, thank you so much. And last I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
So, jangan lupa ya Bapak Ibu, kami tunggu untuk bergabung kembali di link Zoom pukul 3.30 waktu Indonesia Barat. Oke, karena kita masih mempunyai satu keynote speaker lagi dan jangan sampai ketinggalan untuk mengisi daftar hadir karena sertifikat Anda akan dibagikan. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih.
Wow, sukses untuk Anda semuanya. Mohon izin ya.
Ibu mau nanya?
Iya boleh, silakan.
Boleh kan ya? Nanti ini apa namanya pengumuman buat artikelnya mau diarahin masuk ke mananya kapan ya bisa tahunya ya?
Oke, segera mungkin Ibu. kurang lebih 1 minggu dari acara ini, tim publikasi akan segera memberikan info kepada Bapak Ibu untuk pengarahan publikasi. Seperti itu ya.
Mau
Nanti
tanya juga.
segera kami infokan untuk publikasi. Baik,
Oke,
ada
makasih, Bu.
pertanyaan lagi?
Ya, mohon izin tanya. Untuk sesi paralel ini apakah ada presensi seperti itu?
Oh, tidak ada. Jadi nanti Ibu langsung mengisi presensi secara keseluruhan, secara umum di akhir acara sekitar pukul 5 untuk prasyarat mendapatkan sertifikat. Jadi jangan sampai ketinggalan, begitu ya, Bapak Ibu. Oke, saya ingatkan lagi, kita masih ada 1 keynote, jadi jangan sampai ketinggalan untuk bergabung dengan Zoom pukul 3.30. Ada lagi yang bisa saya
Linknya
bantu?
di-share di WA group ya, Mbak?
Iya, nanti akan di-share di WA group.
Thank you.
Baik, terima kasih banyak. Menarik sekali topik-topik yang dipresentasikan. Bapak Ibu mohon izin. Selamat siang untuk semuanya. Saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, we have 2 presenters here. So, can we start it now, Bapak Ibu? Or we wait for the other presenters? Pak Mona, what do you think? Is it better for us to wait the other presenters or we can start it now?
I think it's okay to waiting for them about a few minutes, I think.
Yes, okay. So we wait for them about 5 minutes will be okay ya Pak Mona?
It's okay, never mind, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, Bapak Ibu, we can start it now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Welcome
warahmatullahi
to the
wabarakatuh.
International Conference on Progressive Education. I am Novita Nurdiana as an English lecturer, and I will be your moderator in parallel sessions today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our agendas today. The first is opening, and then the second is introduction, and then it will be continued by presenting your topics at the third point. And the next, there would be opportunity for you to have question and answer, and the last is closing. Well, in the same case with our parallel session in the morning, we have regulation here. Some regulations in our parallel sessions are: the first, each presenter has to present the materials for 10 minutes. And then to help you to manage your time, while I will be your timekeeper, and I would like to remind you for 1 minute for you to finish your paper or your presentation as soon as possible. And the next regulation, when you speak up or when you present your topic, please don't forget to activate or to turn on the speaker. And then for the other participant or for other presenter who have not invited to speak up, please unmute or turn off your speaker. And then the question answer will be open at the end of the session. And then there are 3 questions for this session, Bapak Ibu. So you can present the topics first, and then at the end, we will open the questions answer session. Is it clear about the regulation in our parallel session today? Do you have any question? Well, Bapak Ibu, let's start our presentation today, our oral session today by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The first, I would like to invite Pak Mona Adha to present, to talk about teaching and learning strategy. Do we need classroom to transfer knowledge and values to our students? Okay, it is interesting topic. And then you have 10 minutes for presenting, sir. Don't forget for that. Then are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so time is yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see my share screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
see.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity for me to present my paper with the topic is teaching and learning strategy. Do we need classroom to transfer knowledge and values to our students? As we know, as you can see here from the picture, for the first picture, in a classroom, conventional, manual, or like usual before the pandemic, we practice with this situation like usual. And the second picture is what we have now, the situation, our classroom changing from conventional to virtual synchronous. I would like to explain about the problem. The problem is many teachers not really confident with the virtual synchronous sometimes. Sometimes they feel that when the camera is already on, but the students wasn't there. And sometimes when the students active with the camera active, but they are doing something, let's say, maybe chats with their friends or typing something with their friends. That's the problems with this research. And how many respondents with this research? About 10 respondents from MPIPS students. And yeah, the main problem with this research is the conventional situation and the virtual synchronous. all teachers really know how to implement the situation, because it's so suddenly start from March or April. All teachers requires and all students requires to learn from home, to study from home. So that's why at the beginning, all teachers really shocked about this situation, because they need to adapt with the situation about how to use the technology, but sometimes they're real awkward to, let's say, how to make the Zoom, then how to make, let's say, how about the preparations with the material, or the, let's say, information with the students through the virtual synchronous. And then many teachers also right now, based on my observation and interview with the respondent, they think that conventional or classroom, they really what, let's say, miss with that, with their classroom. Sometimes it is, they think that virtual synchronous not really fulfill their what, their expectation, because of the students' discipline, the character. It's also the discussions with this research, because it is so hard for them, the teacher, want to know about the situations at home, that the parents help the students or not at during the virtual synchronous. And sometimes let's say lazy students, and then they're not really disciplined. Actually, we need to come to this class, let's say about 7:30, but the actual students join with the class at 8 a.m. So that's why the kind of discipline, the character, and how the parents help, let's say, direct their kids to do the virtual synchronous. Yeah, and then the findings here. Teachers' competency is the main concern, to be able to accommodate both types of learning strategies, let's say, about conventional and virtual synchronous. Both of these teaching and learning strategy are really important, and all teachers need to adapt, need to learn and practice this about conventional, how to maintain, and about the virtual synchronous, how to prepare with the interesting and informative, let's say, informative material to their students. Not really, not boring. I think that's this challenge, the strategy that the teacher needs to prepare for the, let's say, for the virtual synchronous. I think that's all for my presentation about the teaching and learning strategy, with two main concepts: conventional classroom, like usual, like used to be before the pandemic, and then the second about the virtual synchronous, that all teacher and the students need to learn together about how to interact based on this monitor like this. Thank you.
Wow, great. Okay, great presentation. Interesting topic. Okay, thanks for your presentation, Pak Mona Adha. Next, I would like to invite Ibu Eka Putri. Ibu Eka Putri, are you ready for your presentation?
Yes, but okay, thank you, Ibu Novita.
Yeah, so Bu Eka, don't forget you have 10 minutes for presenting your topic, Ibu. And we
Okay,
have question and answer at the end.
Okay, but before that, I want to clarify that we will have two presenters here. We have Ibu Rina Listia first, and then I will continue the presentation after her.
Okay.
Can we make it, Ibu?
Yes, of course. So Bu Rina Listia, Bu Rina Listia can start her presentation first. Something like that, Ibu Eka?
Yes, that's right, Ibu.
Okay, so time is yours for Ibu Lina.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Novita, for the chance. How are you today? It's nice to meet you again.
Great, Ibu.
Okay. Our channel is talks about certified English teachers welfare and its effect toward classroom learning quality in Banjarbaru. Okay, Ibu Eka, will you continue to the next? Okay, I will start from the introduction why we conducting this research because of the involvement of the teachers process is very high impact on the quality of education outcomes. The things that sometimes be a problems that there is no equal reward on the hard work done by the teachers on education student, educating student and the welfare that the teachers achieved. As a result of this case, then teachers then teach the student as they are without proper preparation, including material, strategies of teaching, assessment, and other things, means that the most obvious influence that can be accepted is that students can be the victims of poor quality of learning implementations. So why these conditions inspire me and Ibu Eka to conduct this research. That is why we conducted this research. Okay, there are two objectives to achieve in this research. Okay, Becca. Okay. The short-term result of this study to determine the significant effect of the teacher certification allowance on improving the quality of teaching and learning activities by the teachers in the classroom. Okay, and then long result to monitor and measure the quality of teachers' sustainable teaching, which has an impact on the success of the students. This purpose study to determine the significant effect of teachers' certification allowance on improving the quality of teaching and learning activity in this classroom. Okay, Ibu Eka.
Baiklah.
Okay.
Ya Ibu.
Okay,
I will continue.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you Ibu. I will continue, and then we will we will consider about the teacher's competency, and then also the teacher pedagogy. I mean the pedagogic competence of the teacher, and then also the professionalism competence of the teacher. And then the last one is performance and reward. We cannot avoid that teacher need to be motivated to have some kind like an interesting classroom environment. And then by the reward, here the reward is the certification allowance given by the government. It will lead the teacher to have some kind like an interesting classroom, and then strategic various strategy of teaching, and then also various material in the classroom. Okay, the methodology of our research is this is a descriptive qualitative research, and then the participant were 30 teachers who have accepted the professional allowance or certification for junior high school, senior high school, and vocational high school in Banjarbaru, South Kalimantan. And then we have done the interview, and then we have given the questionnaire, and also we observe the way they teach. And then this is the result and discussion from our study. There are two competencies that teachers need to have and apply. They are pedagogic and professional competencies. And performance and reward come as the result of the competencies that have been achieved. Okay, this is the graphic of the what is that, the pedagogic competence of the teacher. So the teacher have already what is that, good, the teacher has a good understanding about the pedagogic competence. And then also this one is the effective learning. The teacher also has a good understanding about the level of understanding on effective learning, about the theories and principle. And then the last one is in pedagogic competence, assessment and evaluation are attempted to be able to be effectively measure the continuity of the evaluation of students' actual learning achievement. So what is that? It's very effective. Assessment and evaluation of the teacher is very effective on junior high school, senior high school, and also vocational high school in Banjarbaru. And then this is the discussion. Oh no, sorry. This is the result of the professional competence. So the result of the professional competence, I'm sorry, that is actually more than 75 percent. So the teacher have got more than 75% of the understanding of the professional competence based on the questionnaire that we have shared, and also based on the interview that we have taken. Okay, this is the discussion. Most of the teachers have already applied the pedagogical competence on their preparation before reading. And then the teacher also use some references for planning every lesson plan. So their lesson plan is very well instructed, and then also very well very well to be done. And then they also have a good preparation before they are teaching. And then they have various learning strategies to make the class actively engaging. And then also they enrich their competence, their knowledge by joining in Bahasa is MGMP, or what we call that is teacher training activity and sharing on the subject teachers group. Okay. And then the teacher also use and apply the knowledge in the classroom. So they not only know the what is that, the theory, but they also practice what they have got. And then they also use syllabus and a syllabus to have what is that, to revert to the material that the students need. Okay. Okay, one of the motivation for teacher to attempt to master professional competence is based on Permendiknas number 16 in 2007 that related to the professional competence. Uh, and then a professional teacher must also ensure that they have really mastered the various component in these competencies. Okay, the conclusion of our we still doing our study actually. So we still what is it? We still see the effect of the certification. Because of that, we cannot what is that, show the final result, because we still doing our study. What we can conclude is based on some what is that, based on some data that we have got, some of teacher in Banjarbaru dominantly mastered the theory and principle, and then also they have various effort to improve their professional competence. Some of them are they join the webinar that are very famous lately, and then they also have MGMP to share their ideas for teaching, and then they also consult to some of the lecturer on their problem on teaching. Okay. When we saw the process of teaching in the classroom, when we observe the process of teaching in the classroom, we saw that some of the teacher use various activity to make the students or actively engaging to the teaching and learning process. So about the performance and reward, we still work on it, but what we can conclude that certification is not really affected the way the teacher teach in the classroom, because we think that, and it also based on our observation that it based on the teacher itself. If the teacher what is that if the teacher are motivated to have to enrich their knowledge, to enrich their competence, and then it will be the certification allowance will have the effect of the teacher. But if the teacher is not really engaged to the what is that to the process of the learning, and then the teacher also not motivated, the certification allowance will not do anything to their teaching and learning process. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Ibu.
Wow, thanks for Ibu Eka and Ibu Rina.
Yeah.
It is a great presentation, and I am glad for getting the result, okay, or the finding of your research, okay? So it can motivate us as the teachers, yeah,
Yes. Thank you, Ibu.
Okay, Bapak Ibu, let's come to the next presentation. How about Ibu Trisna Ningsi? Ibu Trisna, are you ready for presenting your topics?
Yeah.
Okay, Ibu Trisna, you have 10 minutes for presenting your topics. Let's start now. Time is yours, Ibu.
Ya, sebentar nih lagi mau nge-share. Gimana caranya nih?
That's right, Bu. You can click the
Share screen.
Yeah, share screen.
PPT.
Yeah.
Share.
Yeah. Okay, already done, Ibu. We wait for that.
Ya. Nggak kelihatan ya.
Still processing?
Ya. Thank you, terima kasih. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Selamat siang, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Yang saya hormati Bapak Ibu peserta konferensi internasional yang diselenggarakan oleh FKIP. Izin saya menyampaikan ke bahasa Indonesia, nggak apa-apa ya? Halo? Halo?
Okay, Ibu, no problem. It is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is better for you if you want to mix in English. If you want to mix in English, will be okay, Bu. But up to you.
Ya, mungkin lebih mantap di bahasa Indonesianya saja. Mungkin nggak seperti yang muda-muda ini fase-fase semua.
No problem.
Ya, judulnya soft skill. Judulnya ini ada perbedaan dengan yang saya upload. Ya, yang semula itu keberlanjutan pengembangan keprofesionalan guru berkelanjutan berbasis soft skill. Tapi seiring dengan berjalannya waktu, saya tidak sempat melengkapi dan saya sudah punya artikel ini, maka saya kirim artikel ini. Ya, soft skill of social science teacher in 20 years century learning perspective. Ini tim kami bertiga, ya, dengan Pak Bu Rasid dan Pak Sujarwo. Kami dosen di Prodi Pendidikan Geografi dan di Magister Pendidikan IPS. Latar belakang dari judul penelitian ini, ya, banyak penelitian yang sudah dilakukan seperti Mix, Rocky Mawan, Searles, dan Coleman yang menunjukkan soft skill itu berperan penting dalam menunjang karir seseorang di dunia kerja. Ya. Pengaruhnya soft skill terhadap sukses kerjanya seseorang itu bahkan mencapai 80% dibandingkan hard skill. Nah, saat ini masyarakat merasakan, ya, pentingnya kemampuan soft skill ini dibandingkan dengan kemampuan bidang teknologi. Nah, ini kajian dari Source. Ya. Kekurangan soft skill akan berimplikasi negatif terhadap kompetensi yang sangat tinggi dalam dunia kerja secara global. Ada dua kompetensi soft skill yang dimiliki oleh guru yang secara kompetensi yang menurut Mukawin kalau dua hal itu baik, ya, seperti kompetensi profesional dan pedagogik, ini akan mempengaruhi kesuksesannya. Dan 4 kompetensi esensial yang diperlukan oleh setiap guru itu, dan ini yang menunjang dalam pembelajaran di abad 21, yaitu kompetensi dalam komunikasi, kolaborasi, critical thinking, berpikir kritis, dan kreativitas menurut Scott. Nah, di Indonesia beberapa kajian yang sudah dilakukan menunjukkan bahwa guru-guru IPS di sekolah menengah pertama ternyata soft skill mereka ini masih sangat terbatas, ya. Dan kajian tentang itu juga masih sangat terbatas. Ini beberapa yang ada, ini ada di sekolah dasar, kemudian di sekolah yang lain, ya. Kemudian ini penelitian yang lain juga dilakukan oleh peneliti-peneliti seperti Hendriana, Sutrisno, Sudana, Wagiran, dan Utaminingsih. Juga penelitian yang dilakukan oleh Jamaris, Fahronisa, ya, dan yang lainnya. Nah, masih sangat sedikit kajian tentang soft skill, ya, yang ditemukan yang berkaitan dengan pembelajaran di abad 21. Ya. Bagaimana soft skill guru-guru IPS di Lampung dalam mempersiapkan pembelajaran menghadapi abad 21. Itu yang menjadi fokus kajian dalam penelitian ini. Metodologi yang digunakan dalam penelitian ini, guru-guru yang diteliti dalam penelitian ini adalah guru-guru sebenarnya yang mereka yang tergabung dalam musyawarah kerja guru mata pelajaran, ya, MGMP. Tadi saya dengar ada yang menyebut MGMP, di Lampung juga ada, khususnya guru-guru MGMP yang ada di kota Bandar Lampung. Jadi mereka setiap bulan itu bertemu, kemudian mereka saya beri angket, kuesioner, ya, untuk mereka isi, dan data dianalisis dari mereka yang mengembalikan kuesioner tersebut. Jadi di sini ada 110 guru yang mengembalikan kuesioner. Nah, kemudian untuk soft skill itu sendiri, itu konsep soft skill itu mencakup 2 atribut, yaitu atribut personality dan atribut sosial. Jadi interpersonal dan intrapersonal. Pada atribut personality atau intrapersonal itu ada 4 indikator yang mencakup 1 integritas, ya. Kemudian yang kedua belajar sepanjang hayat, dan ketiga membangun karir, dan yang keempat kreativitas, ya. Di sini mencakup berpikir kritis dan keterampilan pemecahan masalah. Kemudian atribut yang kedua, sosial atribut atau interpersonal atribut, itu juga ada 4 indikator yang digunakan, yaitu keterampilan komunikasi, keterampilan kerjasama, keterampilan riset dan investigasi, serta keterampilan kepemimpinan. Jadi itu 4 indikator yang dua atribut tadi dengan 8 indikator kemudian di breakdown ke dalam pernyataan sebanyak 100 pernyataan, jadi cukup banyak, ya. Nah, kemudian setiap pernyataan itu diberi skor jawaban, ya, yang rentangnya menggunakan skor 1 sampai 4, ya. Jadi mengadop dari skala Likert tapi tidak menggunakan lengkap 5 itu. Dan rentang skornya berada dari kalau di atas 400 maka dia tinggi, kalau antara 300 sampai 400 itu sedang, sedangkan di bawah 300 sampai ini, ya, paling rendah di 200 itu rendah. Nah, data yang sudah dikumpulkan ini penyajian analisis datanya masih sederhana, itu menggunakan tabel persentase tunggal dan tabel silang atau cross tab dengan menggunakan software SPSS. Nah, hasil pertama dari aspek kondisi demografis guru, dari 100 guru IPS yang diteliti, mereka ternyata sebagian besar atau persentase terbesar berada pada kelompok umur 40 sampai 50. Ya. Ini yang dominan. Dan cukup banyak yang berada di kelompok umur yang muda, atau ada yang menggunakan istilah mungkin kurang enak kalau dibandingkan tua muda, junior, ya, di bawah 40. Dan yang di atas 50 ini lebih yang paling sedikit. Kemudian kalau dilihat dari status pekerjaan, dari 110 guru IPS yang diteliti dalam penelitian ini, tidak seluruhnya berstatus pegawai negeri sipil. Hanya 64,5% mereka yang PNS, selebihnya tenaga guru honor. Kemudian dari segi lama kerja, sudah cukup lama, antara 10 sampai 20 tahun. Dengan rata-rata lama kerja 17,45 tahun. Dan dari 110 ini yang sudah bersertifikat pendidik itu mencapai, ya, sudah 2/3 lah, 69%, ya, 9,1. Jadi sudah sebagian besar dari mereka bersertifikat pendidik. Nah, bagaimana soft skill dari 110 guru tersebut? Ya. Kalau dilihat, dibedakan antara atribut intrapersonal dengan interpersonal tadi, sebagian besar mereka pada umumnya boleh dikatakan soft skill mereka tergolong bagus karena persentasenya itu berada pada kriteria good, ya. Ini di atas 155 skornya, gitu, ya. Jadi sebagian besar berada di sana dan tidak ada pada kriteria yang rendah. Nah, bagaimana soft skill para guru IPS itu kalau dilihat dari indikator-indikator pada kedua atribut
Sorry,
tersebut.
Ibu, you have
Ya?
one more minute. One more
Iya.
minute, 1 menit lagi,
Oh, ya.
Ibu.
Ya. Nah, ternyata untuk indikator personality integritas atau integritas itu yang paling tinggi. Dan yang paling rendah adalah lifelong learning dan manajemen skill. Ini masih yang terendah, ya, hanya 59,1%. Nah, Ini kajian yang berkaitan dengan soft skill yang di abad 21, mungkin tidak saya bacakan ya. Nah, karena waktunya sudah sangat ini, sebenarnya masih ada tabel-tabel tadi ya. Baik, ini saja saya langsung ke kesimpulan dari penelitian ini. Nah, ternyata soft skill guru IPS yang menunjang dalam pembelajaran abad 21 itu pada indikator personality, ya, integritas. Ini ada pada atribut intrapersonal. Jadi atribut yang ada dalam diri si guru itu sendiri. Dan ini lebih banyak sebenarnya mereka integritas ini kaitan dengan pekerjaan mereka dan ketaatan mereka terhadap keyakinan. Itu saya kira sangat penting ya, karena itu membentuk karakter. Nah, kemudian indikator yang lain ini ya, ini apa namanya, tergolong bagus juga. Nah, tapi ada hal yang kurang menyenangkan ya dari guru-guru IPS. Ini kalau dilihat lebih lanjut pada apa namanya indikator komunikasi, khususnya komunikasi yang kaitannya dengan teknologi. Nah, ternyata ini berbeda antara guru-guru yang mempunyai apa namanya umur yang muda dengan yang lebih senior ya. Dan keterampilan itu ternyata lebih dikuasai oleh guru-guru yang lebih muda. Nah, itu mungkin yang dapat saya sampaikan ya, walaupun sebenarnya ini ya belum lengkap ya karena terbatasan waktu. Terima kasih. Kembalikan ke moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks Ibu Trisda for her presentation. Well, we're going to continue our parallel session by talking about teaching writing. Bapak Ibu, I would like to invite Ibu Wahyuningsih, and her team. Are you ready for presenting your topic?
Ready, Mbak Novita.
Yeah.
Ibu is not here now because he has something to do.
Mbak Maida will ask the representative for Ibu Wahyuningsih. Okay, you have 10 minutes for presenting. Okay, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mbak Novi, if my voice is not really clear, please remind me.
Sure, of course. Okay, your voice is clear enough for now.
Okay, so thank you. So can you see my screen now, my PPT?
Yes, Mbak Maida, we can see your screen.
Okay, can I start now, Mbak Novi?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so good afternoon, Bapak Ibu, and all of the presenters. In this good chance, and thank you very much, Mbak Novi, for giving me the chance to present our research result. So actually, Ibu Wahyuningsih cannot come to the meeting today, so I will represent her to talk about our research. So the title of our research is A Perception in Teaching Writing Descriptive Text Using Guessing Game. Okay, so as a teacher, we know that the perception stage is one of the crucial moments for us to tune the student in to our class. For example, when the students are not ready, so it's quite hard for us to make or to catch their attention. So this research basically is a kind of best practices done by one of the English teachers in junior high school in one of the school in Palangkaraya. So the activities of this research or the activities of this practice was based on the current condition there. So the limitation of the research is like this. Maybe this will not work in your area, but this is what best done in that school. So because this is a challenge, we think that we want to modify something. When you are coming as a teacher and you want to start the class, you try to give the perception to the students. Sometimes we trigger the student to see the pictures or watch the movie, or maybe we talk something related to the topic. But now in writing descriptive text, we want to make the perception stage as a media or as a time for the students to play games. Normally, playing games done, like playing guessing game was done in, in the main activities of the teaching process. But we want to switch it a little bit. So we move the game, or we move the fun learning into the first stage of the learning. Okay, why descriptive text? Because based on the theory, we read that descriptive text is a kind of initial text that is needed to be mastered by students. Because of why? Because of this is a kind of real life text. Like, when we want to write a descriptive things, for example, we can see the picture or we experience the things. So that's why we choose this, and the teacher choose this. Okay, go on to the problem. So maybe this is a general problem for us, because sometimes the teachers are confused of starting the class. And then teaching writing is not an easy job to do, because the students need to brainstorm the ideas. And when they want to brainstorm the ideas, so it's the teacher's role to make the ideas come out into the student's mind. Sometimes it's easy to do because the teacher only need to provide the trigger. But sometimes for the different students has different style of learning. So, and because this is a junior high school, so the students are directed to play a fun learning first. And then we come by this research to give the teachers or to give the educators of English education that a perception can be done as one of the alternative of problem solving for this kind of matter. Okay, so the perception underlines the preliminary activities of this research. It can catch the student interest to the learning, and the teacher should be able to control the class, because the teacher is the main facilitator in the class, and the class is their own. It means that they have to find out, or maybe they have to know their student first, and then they have to know what's the problem, and then they have to get the problem solving of this problem. So we come to make a perception is more effective. Yes, what kind of game? We use guessing game, but don't be too, don't be too general, because maybe you think that the game is a kind of online or maybe high technological game. In this case, because this is a best practice, we just, based on the situation in the school, not all schools in Palangkaraya has a good facilities to facilitate the student to learn online, or maybe they have good facilities in technology. But in this school, the teacher only use the guessing game. This is a very traditional guessing game. So the student come to the class and the teacher grab the things by papers, and then the student try to, and the things were put in the box. And then the students try to, undian, they close their eyes and then put their hand into the box and they get something, and then they have to see what thing they got. Okay, so this research was conducted and written following best practices done by English teacher of MTS Miftahul Jannah. The source of the data was the teacher's experiences in using guessing game in a perception stage to teach descriptive text writing. Considering the learning facilities in the school, that's why I mentioned before that the game is very traditional. The students are asked to guess a certain thing wrapped in a piece of paper. They are asked
to touch the red thing, and then they are asked to describe the thing they touch in descriptive paragraph. This is the procedure. So this is the steps. First step is teacher explain the activity to describe a certain thing contained in a box. So the teacher come to the class and then say that, okay, class, we will have a game. Second, teacher divided student into 5 groups. Teachers gave the box containing the thing to be guessed. It's about 10 things. It can be more. 4, teacher distributed the form containing columns and rows. So the teacher gave the student a piece of paper containing the table to, to be checklisted. So the content of the column is about the color, shape, size, and number. Next, the students fill out the columns and row in the above format. Firstly, they stated the characteristic of the thing using 2 or 3 words, only words, and then in sentences. So from words into sentences. 6, students just describe the thing in the box, but not mentioning the name of the thing. So they only need to find the characteristic. 7, the group took turns to present orally the characteristic of the thing in words, or maybe in some words, in the box, and other group guessed the name of that thing. 8, the teacher explained about the descriptive paragraph. So this is what we done. So the perception stage is playing game, and then after playing the game, the teacher come to explain about how to write descriptive paragraph. The last, students individually wrote a descriptive paragraph based on the characteristic of the thing they have got. Yeah, the result, after doing the guessing game, the students improved their focus. So we are very interested in tuning on the student. So we think that the students' focus is very important to start the learning. Even at the beginning of the writing process, they had the things in mind of how to describe the thing they choose. Because generally, the teachers found that it's not easy for the student to start writing because they have no idea. And then in the perception stage, the teachers try to give or try to provide the ideas for the student. So this was how the perception influenced the very first stage of writing. Students were not confused and they knew what to do. Come to the conclusion.
So sorry for interrupting. You have one more minute, Mbak Maida.
Okay,
this
is the last. Yeah, this is the last. Thank you, Mbak Novi. There was a good impact of the use of guessing game in the perception stage to construct sentences in short and simple descriptive paragraph. Maybe it only worked for junior high school students. We don't know about whether this will work in senior high. Based on the teacher's experiences, this practice worked well in the school situation. The limitation of this alternative was to have more structured role of teacher. So the teacher is the role, the teacher is the key during the monitoring, assisting, and supervising the activities. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. Great presentation. And I have already investigated the same case with what you have already investigated, Mbak Maida.
Okay, really? In a perception stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
thank you. We can share later on.
Yeah. We come to the next presentation. Okay. How about Bapak Ridwan? Are you ready for presenting your topic? Bapak Ridwan?
Well, hello.
Okay. Can
you hear me?
listen my voice clearly, Pak Ridwan?
Well, hello.
Yes. Hello, Pak Ridwan.
Is it clear?
Yes. Your voice
Okay,
is
well,
clear enough.
Okay. Thanks
You have 10
for the
minutes for
chance.
presenting your topic, Pak. Time is yours.
Okay. Well, thanks. Actually, I'm not alone here. I have a friend who is the first author of the research. So actually, this is about the research about the comparing of English curriculum between Indonesia and the Philippines. here I am not alone. I'm with my friends named Rahmawati. So I will give the chance to Rahmawati to present the our result. Rahmawati, are you there?
Yes, sir. Well, Ibu Rahma,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm going to present our research. The title is A Comparative Case Study of Junior High School English Curriculum between Indonesia and the Philippines. So this research is conducted in BSU integrated schools in the Philippines. So this school is start from preschool until university level, and the other school in Indonesia is at SMP Frater Don Bosco Tarakan. This school is at North Kalimantan. So the aims for this research is to find or describe the similarities and differences between Indonesia and the Philippine English curriculum, especially for grade 9, and also want to find the other special characteristics from each curriculum practice so both countries can learn from each other. Okay, because to get the trustworthiness of the data, we keep triangulations for our research. So there are about aim and adjective, the pedagogic mode, and then aim evaluations, and also learning objects to find the similarities and differences between these two curriculums. So for the aim and objectives here, taken from the document I take from Permendikbud. We take from Permendikbud number 22 of 2016, and also we also take from syllabus, and then the next one also interview, and of course we do observations. And that's the data from Indonesia. How about Philippines? From Philippines, we take documents from English Curriculum Guide, and then for interview also from the teachers, the Filipino teacher, and also observations while teaching English there. So here to see the differences and the similarities between aim and objectives here, we can see that actually Indonesia and Philippines English curriculum basically has the same purpose. They want to improve communicative competence and also literacy skills. Also want to produce three discourses, interpersonal, transactional, and functional in written and also spoken at information literacy level. So the aims and objectives actually has the same characteristics. And how about the learning objects? So the wide differences can be seen in these aspects. There are learning objects. I take from syllabus also, especially from the core and basic competencies, their books, and also an interview and observation taken from both country, from Philippines and from Indonesia. And let's see what makes them are really different. So the difference here, we can see, okay, the difference from the learning objects can be seen that the interpersonal and transactional communication text, the functional and monologue text is basically tough in Indonesia, and the materials or the learning objects for Philippines, they tend to learn about the selections of Anglo-American literature. So it seems really different while we teach how to greet people, how to ask for opinion, and then the other kind of text. But there they only teach about we can see here the example like the epic of Beowulf, the mythical tale Romeo and Juliet. So that's really a difference with what we have learned in Indonesia. And then for the other aspects, we can see from the pedagogic standard, that is pedagogic mode. So both countries apply student centeredness here. And also I take from the interview for the accuracy of the data. and then the observation taken from both country. So the conclusions for their pedagogic mode from both country is student-centeredness. And also look at their types of learning approach. Actually, they have the same approach here because they want to apply like what is it? Like a collaborative approach, scientific approach, inquiry approach, and the other approach. And then the feedback mechanism can happen from the opening until the closing of teaching process. It's like questions and answer sessions for students, and their sources and technologies also things like taken from book, video, pictures, and the others. And also for seating arrangements for both school, they apply letter U or orderly route, but actually it depends on the appropriate settings of the classroom. And then for the tasks, yes, they have written performance project tasks. And then formative approach, we apply this process, connective process from Pratwool and Anderson's, and Philippines actually apply this approach. And for timing, this is also the difference between Indonesian and Philippine English curriculums because they learn English for 4 times per week, while in Indonesia we only learn English 2 times per week. And then the environment, they might learn outside because to improve their teaching method, it will not make the students be bored if they only teach in the class. And then for the evaluation standards, because we apply semester here and they apply quarter, so they are different just for the what is it, the period of time, but actually we have the same assessment here. We have written assessment, performance assessments, and also quarterly assessment means like what is it, like PTS, like PAS and penilaian akhir tahun. And then this is the other characteristics that can can be learned from both country. The first one is both curricula have taken the advantage of today's advanced technologies. So the teachers in Philippines, they have they have applied a flipped classroom. So at night the students will learn from internet or application. They have special applications, so in the next day they will learn in the class, so they will make the time effectively to discuss about the topic. And in this pandemic era, I think they will not be difficult to use technology in their learning process, while in Indonesia what I have found that they only learn from video, not applications. But I thought there are some schools that have applied this method also. And what curricula positions building responsibility among the student as a concern. This is the best things that, yeah, but curricula, even though they are in a different country, responsibility is number one. And we can see that characters is also the prioritize of the schools. And then they assess students' attitude at authentically through an evidence. So in Philippines, actually they have a course which is focused only on characters, and when they will assess the students through a card. This is just a card that the teacher will always bring the cards to see what the students do every day or at English lessons, and will write down what had happened in that class. And in Indonesia, we have so many assessment about attitudes, and it's more complete than what is done
So
in
sorry for
Philippines.
interrupting. 1 minute to
Yes.
be left, Mbak
Okay,
Rahmawati.
thank you for reminding me. Okay, and then what country they veer away from valuing only academic achievement based on excessive grades. So they will not, both country will not only assess their student based on their score, Because what have done in Philippines, they will give reward to students not based on their score, but also how they join an organization, how they what is it, how their attitude towards their friends, it will be assessed actually. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Wow, so interesting. I have gotten information today about the similarity and differences between, Indonesia. And of course, yes, okay, based on your topics, very interesting. Well, Bapak Ibu, let's continue our next presentation. I would like to invite here for Ibu SK, Ibu SK Prawisudawati, Ibu SK Prawisudawati, and then her team, to present her topic. Maybe it will be presented by Pak Mona, is it right?
Oh, yeah, you're right, Bu
Yes.
Novita.
Okay, and it will talk about fun learning. Is it right, sir?
Yes, you're right, about fun,
Yes,
about fun learning, yeah.
Well, 10 minutes for you. Okay, time is yours.
Thank you so much for the chance for me. And I'd like to say hi to all participants here. As I can see, participants from Banjarmasin, Palangkaraya, and other cities in Indonesia. I'd like to present our team paper about fun learning activities and open classroom climate to reduce students' academic stress. Yeah, we were doing this research in Malang, and the respondent 72 students from 3 public schools in Malang. And this is the picture on the monitor, the situation or the conditions if your students got the academic stress. This one. Yeah, this is conditions if our students feel the academic stress. They're not really motivated to study and feel, let's say, lazy and not really motivated to follow the instructions and how to do the assignments, the homeworks, and others. And sometimes because of this problem, what the cause of, let's say, why the academic stress comes up to our students, because of this one. Many assignments from the teachers, or let's say from the lecturers maybe, and then there is no social. Sometimes our kids, to be honest, they really need our attention, let's say, to remind them of the assignment, but about, let's say, what about your homework, and then what kind of study and what kind of subject do you learn today? I think that kind of the attention that we can give to our kids at home. And then the condition, sometimes why the academic stress sometimes, let's say, increase, let's say, make the stress and pressure with our kids because of the conditions, their friends. In what kind, let's say, about bullying sometimes, and then about not really good words that our kids get from their friends, and then sometimes sometimes domination from the other friends with our kids, let's say, with our kids. And this is the discussion. So what we have to do, or what we need to do to overcome, let's say, to find the solutions about the problem, to reduce the stress academic for our kids. Let's say my kid and your kids and our students at school. In the reality right now, we are in virtual synchronous, like the previous one I said to you from the previous presentation. So this is the let's say the answer, the findings. Our students really need enjoyable learning, not only in the classroom, conventional, let's say, the classroom before the pandemic. But the enjoyable learning, they really need to see how the teacher convey the concept to them with enjoyable learning, fun, and then what kind of video, what kind of virtual video that you can share to your students, that it means that can reduce their academic stress. To be honest, all participants and researchers here, so many articles about students' academic stress about the strategy coping strategies. There are so many articles related to that things, but not many about let's say research about how to reduce students' academic stress with the implementation of fun learning activities and open classroom climate. Open classroom climate, I mean the situations at class. Let's say all students can make a good conversation with their teacher, and the teacher can to explore more what the students need, what kind of information the students really want to know, and then give like something games maybe to, let's say, to make their stress academic lower. And then social support, this one, social support and open classroom climate. That's the findings of our team. We were doing this research in Malang with 72 students from 3 public schools. And the conclusion is learning in pleasant atmosphere and open classroom climate in general can reduce student academic stress, because students can overcome the anxiety they experience by being diverted by a fun learning process and the support of teachers and friends in the classroom. Therefore, this is the most important thing. The teacher needs to make strategies, models, and fun learning innovations and perform to the class. Let's say conventional class or virtual synchronous class. I think that's all for the presentation for Bu SK Prawisudawati Ulpa. Thank you so much, moderator.
Okay, anytime Pak Mona, okay. And then Bapak Ibu, we continue the next presentation. I want to make sure that the next presenter has already joined in our Zoom now. How about Ibu Nadia? Ibu Nadia, unfortunately, I haven't found Ibu Nadia here. And how about Ibu Ika Purnamasari? Ibu Ika? Okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, I think we can continue the next session about question and answer. So we have already found here in this chat that there are some interesting and good questions. We can have discussion about that. We start from a question from Pak Mona to Ibu Rahmawati. Okay, Ibu Rahmawati and Pak Ridwan. Okay, was it common in Philippines the society speak English in their daily life? And may I have your opinion? So what is your opinion, Ibu Rahmawati and Pak Ridwan, related to English as the daily activities? Okay, can you get the point, Ibu Rahmawati, related to the question?
Okay, may I answer the questions
Yes,
now?
sure.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So I have been living there about a month. So for the daily activity there, when I meet just the common people there, like the security or the seller, they will not hesitate to speak English with them. They can understand what I'm saying. So there is no problem to communicate with Filipino there. That's the point. So which one is fluent in English, Indonesia or Filipinos? I think because they ever colonized by, is it Spain? So their their pronunciations tend to Spain. So when we say education, they will say education. We say back, they will say back. There's that's it, the difference. Um, I think which one is fluent? So when I teach there, because I'm from English department, and there are some friends from mathematics departments, science departments. When they speak to Filipinos friends, they can speak English fluently than we from English department. So I can say Filipinos is more fluent in English, because we know that English is as a second language there. They need to know English. They need to know English to read their book, to read the regulation from the government, right? That is why they learn English 4 times a day. And imagine that just for 9th grade students, they learn literature, they learn about proverb. I even, as the university students, honestly, I need to open the dictionary. That is why I said the learning objects is really different from Indonesia and Philippines. While in Indonesia, we just learn how to greet people, how to ask for opinion, how to tell the time. That's actually just the basic for English. And I will also answer the second questions. Can I, Mom? May I?
Of course, you can
Okay.
answer the second question related.
Okay, I think
Yes,
what
the
I have
similar
said,
question.
yes, yeah, because
Yeah.
what I have said also can answer the same questions from Mr. Maida from
Yeah,
Palangkaraya.
Mbak Maida.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So
From
what would be the
Palangkaraya.
biggest influencing factors for have the best English competencies? I think that is intentions. What is your intention learning English? If we enter the classroom, we make sure our students know why we should learn English, so they will learn English well. They have to know their intentions. They have know their purpose. So what they want to achieve will be reached also. I think that's all that I can answer. Mom, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Wow, okay, Pak Mona. How about
Yeah,
the
thank you so
answer?
much.
Are you
Yeah,
satisfied with the answer?
really satisfied. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you,
well, great.
Mr.
Thanks for Mbak Rahmawati. And how about Mbak Maida? Can you get the point related to the answer? Okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, let's come to the next question. It is interesting question too. Okay. Well, here. Yeah. Question for Ibu Trisna. Ibu Trisna, can you hear my voice, Ibu?
Ya,
Okay. So, question for Ibu Trisna. Tadi Ibu menyatakan, tadi Ibu menyatakan bahwa guru junior lebih menguasai iptek dibanding guru lebih senior. So,
ya.
how to make balancing related to the perception between junior and senior related to the perception? Ibu, you
Iya.
can give your answer.
Ya, terima kasih kepada siapa ini yang sudah memberi respon ya atas paparan saya dengan bertanya bagaimana menyamakan persepsi antara guru junior dengan guru senior ya terhadap ini penggunaan teknologi. Ya. Agak susah memang karena mereka terlahir pada generasi yang beda. Jadi yang junior itu guru-guru yang berumur di bawah 40 tahun. Dan mereka ini terlahir di antara setelah tahun 80-an. Jadi pada masa tersebut itu teknologi sudah ya berkembang, sudah ada smartphone dan sebagainya itu ya. Jadi mereka sudah lingkungannya itu sudah membentuk mereka untuk mengenal teknologi. Nah, sementara guru-guru yang junior yang sudah 50 tahun ke atas itu teknologi-teknologi tersebut tuh belum berkembang. Jadi mereka hidup pada lingkungan yang ya belum mengetahui hal itu dan ini kan membentuk perilaku, ya. Karena terkait dengan teknologi ini kan masalah keterampilan. Jadi ada pepatah yang mengatakan Allah bisa karena biasa. Nah, karena tidak biasa digunakan, mereka jadi tidak terampil. Dan mereka mungkin juga merasa ada keengganan atau mungkin kurang percaya diri, ya. Jadi bagaimana caranya? Karena kita saat ini tidak bisa lepas karena kita berada dalam masa revolusi industri 4.0 ya, teknologi. Jadi apalagi dengan situasi pandemi seperti ini keterampilan penggunaan teknologi tidak bisa dihindari, ya. Jadi guru-guru yang sudah senior ini ya dibantulah oleh guru-guru yang masih junior, didampingi, ya. Dan mereka perlu dimotivasi dari dalam dirinya. Jadi salah satu soft skill-nya memberi semangat kepada mereka, dan mereka ya kalau nggak bisa jangan diejek gitu, tapi dibantu, ya. Jadi ya ini nggak bisa dihindari yang seperti ini, ya. Dan saya merasakan itu, ya, di level perguruan tinggi saya merasakan, saya kalau untuk urusan teknologi harus belajar dengan yang mudah. Ya kalau dulu dari lahir saya sudah ada HP dan ini saya kira nggak kalah canggih, ya. Zaman saya sekolah aja masih pakai sabak, nggak ada itu. Aduh, pokoknya masih zaman kuno banget, ya. Tapi dengan semangat, kemauan, ya belajar sedikit demi sedikit semampunya dan nggak bisa dipaksakan untuk generasi, ya. Karena ini dari segi biologis juga kemampuan anatomi tubuh itu kan juga semakin menurun, ya. Nah, mungkin begitu caranya. Jadi saling kerjasama, yang senior mau belajar, yang muda mau membantu yang senior. Makanya di dunia pendidikan saat ini tidak hanya di sekolah, di perguruan tinggi, ini dengan virtual class dan sebagainya, ini kalang kabut ya yang sudah senior-senior dosen-dosennya, ya. Kalau nggak dibantu dengan muda-muda kayak gini, ya kami angkat tangan gitu, ya. Alhamdulillah masih ada kemauan. Jadi sedikit demi sedikit masih bisa mengikuti. Mungkin itu jawaban saya. Terima kasih.
Wow, Ibu. So it means that yes, we can state good cooperation, supports each other. It is the answer. And then of course has a good motivation for learning about technology is also the answer. How about Ibu Eka? Are you satisfied with the answer, Ibu? Ibu Eka? Yeah, is it for the answer, Ibu Eka Putri Eliani? Oh.
Okay, Ibu Novita, I will add some opinion for this situation to Ibu Trisnaningsih.
Yes.
At the same age, Ibu. I was born in 1994, so okay. Sometimes saya gaptek menghadapi teknologi, but okay, I have so many junior that can help me in conducting my teaching learning process. So I really help by them. Betul kata Ibu, kita dibantu oleh yang muda-muda sehingga pembelajar, walaupun kita terlahir di apa ya Bu, yang namanya
generasi X, baby
boomers.
boom.
Ya, yang penting kita masih punya motivasi untuk belajar, terus
kemauan
belajar.
untuk belajar.
Ya.
Belajar sepanjang hayat.
Oke, ya Ibu. Terima kasih juga sarannya buat saya sendiri. Ya, termasuk senior lecturer.
Saya yang udah mau pensiun ini, Bu.
Ya, betul. Ya, barangkali saya juga sebentar lagi. Ya, tapi tetap semangat lah Ibu ya kita ya.
Tetap semangat. Makanya bisa ini ngikutin share-share segala ini.
Ya, oke. Ya. Thank you for the opinion.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ibu Rina. Okay, thanks for your opinion. It's a great discussion for today. So suggestion for the senior one and then junior one to have the good cooperation to support each other. Okay, Bapak Ibu, that's all our para session today. Do you have more question related to the topic that we have already discussed today, Bapak Ibu? Because there are no more presenters here who have joined. Maybe, yeah, or is there? Okay, are there some presenters who have already joined? Well, so do you still have question, Bapak Ibu, related to our topic? Pak Mona, Ibu Rahmawati, Ibu Dina, Mbak Maida?
I think enough, Ibu Novita, for
Yeah, enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your great presentation. Honestly, I'm so delighted for joining this parallelization as the moderator. I have gotten so many information for you. And then the point is you motivate me for conducting the research. Bapak Ibu, thank you so much. And I remind you to join in the link Zoom, Bapak Ibu. Don't forget to join in the link of Zoom because we still have one keynote speaker at 3:30.
And the
Yeah.
link, how about the link? The
How to
link.
connect to that
Yeah.
room?
Okay, we will start the link of Zoom, Bapak Ibu, in WA group.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, and please don't miss the end of the session because you will get your e-certificate. And then the attendance will be served at the end of the session around 5 o'clock. So Bapak Ibu, please don't
we
miss
have to
it
learn
related to your
to
certificate
leave
and
for this
attendance.
room first.
Yeah, thanks so much for today. Okay, and then support each
Thank
other.
you.
I hope that it can be beneficial for all of us. And last, I say so sorry for all of the mistakes that I have made for parallelization today, Bapak Ibu. And the last, I close by saying Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Well, okay. See you, Bapak Ibu.
Mbak Novi.
Wassalamualaikum
Sampai
warahmatullahi
jumpa.
wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bu Novi.
Izin left.
Well, Bapak Ibu, can I need your help for turn on your camera so we can take a picture?
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, you can turn on the camera first. Okay, Pak Ridwan, thank you. Okay. Well, yeah, Pak Yudi, no problem. It'll be okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Yes, wait for a while. Okay, this one. Yes, great. Okay. Okay, once more, Bapak Ibu. Okay, show up your best smile today. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Freestyle. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Bapak Ibu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selesai ya, guys.